Press the bell icon on YouTube and don't miss another update.
Over the last few months, the Congress party and its president Mr. Rahul Gandhi have shown a relentless focus in trying to expose corruption in the Modi government's Rafale deal. Mr. Gandhi has led these attacks from the front. He led the charge against the government in parliament. He holds press conferences on this issue almost daily. He speaks about it in almost every election rally, and the issue even dominates his social media timeline. A lot of political observers have firstly found it surprising that a historically uncommunicative Mr. Gandhi has taken so much time trying to communicate on this issue. And secondly, their larger point is that the Congress seems to be making a mistake by making Rafale the focus of their campaign against the BJP. Instead, they argue that the Congress and Mr. Gandhi should be focusing on more legitimate and real issues like joblessness and farmer distress, which seem to have a more direct effect on the common man. Besides, Rafale being about defense negotiations and procedures involved therein is a very complex issue for the average citizen to really understand and grasp, and hence it might be difficult for them to vote on an issue that they don't really understand. So why could it be that the Congress is focusing so much on this issue instead of the other issues that seem to be a lot more legitimate and that are even backed up by surveys which show that unemployment and rural distress are really high up on the issues that are affecting the average citizen? We think that this is because they have recognized that election campaigns in India are increasingly leader-centric and personality-driven. This has become even more prevalent recently for three reasons. The first is that we're seeing a lot of centralization of power with the Prime Minister. The second is that there's a lot of centralization of power within the parties. You know, at one point in the 1960s, the Congress had different factions representing different ideologies with the freedom to really disagree with the party decisions. Now you don't see that in the Congress. You also don't see that in the BJP, in which Prime Minister Modi and Amit Shah wield a lot of power. And you don't see that in most regional parties as well. Finally, the third reason is that is especially relevant today is that you're seeing a weak and fragmented opposition, and you're not seeing a similarly towering personality like Narendra Modi who's able to unite the opposition parties together. As a result of this, what we have is that all parties are making this election about their leader, the strengths of their leader, and the weaknesses of the opposition's leader. So from the BJP, whose all posters will have pictures of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, whose election speeches, even Narendra Modi's election speeches, are focused on the weaknesses of the opposition leaders. Recently, the BJP president, Mr. Amit Shah, even said in a rally that Narendra Modi is our leader, who is yours? It was a jibe directed at the opposition. The BJP is trying hard to make this a presidential-style contest between Narendra Modi and anyone else. And it makes sense for them because Narendra Modi, by most accounts and by most surveys, is still the most popular leader in the country. So where does that leave the Congress? The Congress has realized that its only option available is to try hard and chip away at Narendra Modi's popularity. And that's why they're focusing so much on the Rafale deal, to try and dent his image as a strong, incorruptible leader who can resonate with the masses. Essentially what they're trying to do is try to reduce the impact of Mr. Modi's popularity on the election outcomes. That's why they're probably focusing so much of their energy on Rafale instead of issues like unemployment, farmer distress, and many others.